welcome to our 3 times a week talk show. It's Chris Reardon with you, United Kingdom Talk, available on various days, depending on, of course, how you're listening to it. A new podcast and a new video every Tuesday, Thursday and Sunday by going to unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk, right? unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Hope you had a nice few days. It's been a bit of a disaster this morning so far, to be honest. Just before I came out for a little bit of a chat to you, we are in the garden today. Listen to those birds singing. We'll sing then. Just about hear one in the background. It's a bit later in the day today. Oh, there's one. There we go. Can't hear the wood pigeon today. I wonder if someone shot it last night. I do hope not. I like that noise, don't you? Woo! I'm starting to wonder, is it a wood pigeon, that noise? Or is it a cuckoo? Sounds more like a cuckoo to me. Mind you, I've been cuckoo for years, as you know. Anyway, bit of a disaster this morning. So I'm in the kitchen, nice cup of tea standing by. The toast was in the toaster. Up popped the toast, put the toast on the work surface, well, where I found a space on the work surface. I don't know if you were listening to, I think it was the last show or the show before, when I did show you a little bit around the kitchen. And indeed, what a disaster zone it is, really, for cleanliness. Although I have cleaned the kitchen this week, I'll come on to that later. But you might have noticed, if you did watch the show, rather than listen to it, a couple of, I think it was after the last show or the one before, I did take you in the kitchen, and there you saw my work surface disappear under increasing loads of paper and pens and plates. And I don't know where the surfaces go. 1 minute they're there, and the next minute they're disappeared. What's all that about, eh? Anyway, so I'm in the kitchen, tea ready, plate there, toast on plate. Then, I don't know how I managed it, but I got the margarine tub, and I went like that with the knife, you know, scraped, well, I say scraped, more like dug. It's funny, actually, my mum always used to, you know the margarine tubs? I usually scrape a bit off the top and that's it. Mum used to dig it out with the old knife. Cool. Of course, that was the days before we knew that too much dairy products are bad for you. Not that I don't actually, the margarine I use is olive oil margarine, or they say it's made with olive oil. Actually, when you look on the back, it's quite a low amount. It's like 21% olive oil. I don't know what the rest of it is, to be honest. I also have a dairy-free soya margarine type stuff as well that I have now and again. The reason I do that is because of the old phlegm at the back of the throat, which you may have noticed isn't as bad in the summer, is it? Have you realised that? If you've been listening to the show for a long time, you'll know that quite often I go or something like that, or even worse, that noise that I don't often let you hear, because, well, it's a bit different in the garden. In the garden, where I am today, you have to stop yourself doing it, because I've got no switch here to throw every time I want to cough. So if I cough like this, then you hear it. Okay, when I'm in the studio, I do have a button to push so that I would cough, push the button, and you wouldn't hear it. Although you would see me going, you know, making strange cough-type faces. But the worst noise than that is when you hear me do that snorting sound. I'll do it now, okay, just for purposes of so you understand what it is. This I mean, isn't that the most dreadful noise where it all gets bunged up at the back of your throat? Now, reading up on the internet and that sort of thing, a lot of people say it's due to too many dairy products. Now, I do have quite a lot of tea in the day, and I do have milk in the tea. I can't drink tea without milk. Not possible. Okay? Can't drink my tea without milk, so I've looked around in cutting down in other ways, and I've got this dairy-free margarine stuff. Now, what's it called? Pure. I think it's called Pure or something like that, made with soya or sunflower, or I don't know what it's in it, but I've used that. I use that one as well. Anyway, so I've got this thing. So I've taken I have to be honest, a large scraping of my olive oil margarine. I've taken the knife across to the bread and didn't actually make the bread. It went straight on the floor, dear. Why is it that margarine is so blooming hard to clear off the floor, isn't it, eh? I must have got through 3 or 4 cloths getting up every morsel of that margarine. Mind you, I've got to be honest, that floor does need a clean in the kitchen. I don't know about you. I find more things to do with my time than cleaning homes, okay? Now, some people are always worried that their entire house is alive with various bacteria and things like that crawling in and out of the place. Although surveys have been done recently that say people are becoming allergic to things because we are just not exposing ourselves to all these bacteria and things, aren't they? Did you see that? Have you seen those surveys? Oh, yes. Yes, they say that there are a lot more people allergic to a lot more things now, and they think one of the reasons for this is because we no longer expose ourselves to all these bacteria and bad things, or little microscopic things that are all around us. Instead, constantly cleaning homes with antibacterial products, this, that and the other, sterilising everything, so your body never gets exposed to these things. I mean, I take all note of these sort of surveys, as you know, and I immediately went out, bought 2 loaves of bread, left them in the sunshine for 10 weeks so that they became very mouldy, and ate them all. And since then, I haven't been ill. I haven't been ill. Did I tell you about that programme I watched the other week on the television? This bloke who decided to find out how important are sell-by dates. And this bloke was eating items that were increasingly further past their sell-by date, and it included all sorts of stuff. Right at the very end, he ate a piece of mouldy bread, and he was not ill. He didn't become ill. I mean, I think I draw the line at meat and fish, I think. Although, admittedly, I've cooked, okay, not raw, right? I've cooked and eaten meat and fish that's been in the fridge that have been 3, 4, 5 days out of date. But you know, don't you? You know, as soon as you open the packet, does it smell off? You would know straight away, wouldn't you? Well, I would anyway, and it's never made me ill, although I did get food poisoning once from beef burgers, and I know exactly how it happened. What happened is that somehow the freezer... Now, what happened to the freezer? Might have been a power cut or something like that. This is years ago now, and I left the freezer door closed. See, this is the difficulty. They tell you, don't they, if your electricity goes off, do not open the freezer door. Okay, so I didn't. The trouble is, when it comes back on again, you don't know, if you've not opened the freezer door to check, okay, you don't know what's thawed out, do you? And I'm pretty sure it was some burgers that probably thawed out and then refroze again. I'm pretty sure it was that. So I did do, I think a couple of times I've done food poisoning, but rarely do I eat anything. You know those, certainly in London we have little men and women who push these little trucks along selling beef burgers and sausages and things like that as to people who come out of nightclubs. I mean, I have eaten that stuff before, but I'll be honest, I wouldn't touch it now. I always remember being outside a pub that I worked at, and every Monday night there would be this guy out there who would sell sausages in rolls and onions, and he'd be out there. Yeah, you don't see it so much now. I think it was Ken Livingstone who was the mayor of London. I think he cleared a lot of it up. You know, they stopped allowing, sort of moved people on, so they're not allowed to do it anymore. So I don't think I've seen one for quite a long time now. But I always remember buying this hot dog. Well, not so much a dog. It was a sausage in a roll with some onions from this guy who was cooking it outside one of the pubs I worked in. And just before I bit into it, one of my friends says, "Don't eat that." And I said, "Why not?" He said, "Quick, look at it." And honestly, the roll was green. The roll was green. And I took it back to this bloke, and he says, "Oh, I don't understand it. I bought them fresh." And I thought, "You blooming liar." But this bloke on the telly, he wrote, he had a mouldy bit of bread. He didn't toast. Did he? Oh, hang on. Did he toast it? Yes, he did. He toasted it. You see, that's the thing. When you toast things and cook them properly, it kills all the badness there anyway, doesn't it? I'm sure it does. Just because it doesn't look very good. Maybe it's a little bit like, you know, the whole cosmetic look of things. For example, me. Okay? Me. Now, cosmetically, perhaps not as athletic, now how do I say that word? Aesthetic, isn't it? Perhaps now I'm not as aesthetically pleasing as I might have been 10 years ago, but underneath the beauty is still there, boys and girls. I just ask you to peer beneath the lines and the wrinkles on my face, and please see the beauty. Please see the beauty. There is an email address to the show. If you'd like to join in at any time, it'd be great to hear from you. And a lot of people always do. We're going to do some emails in a second or two, okay? The email address is chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. As I say, I'm in the garden today. The sun is kind of on half of me. The reason is I still haven't... Do you remember that green umbrella I've got? I still haven't picked up a new base for it from my friend Justin. Now, I'm slightly considering, because I have seen in the garden centre a granite base, which I think would be a lot more sturdy than the plastic one that Justin's going to give me, and they're not very expensive either. They're only about £10. So possibly after I finish the show today, I might jump on the bike and go down to the garden centre and buy one of those granite bases. Oh, here comes one of the cats. All right, Tiny. Do you want to come and say hello, darling? Poor old soul. Poor old Tiny. Each day goes by and I brush her. She doesn't like being... Well, she likes being brushed until the brush gets caught up in her fur. But it's for her own good, and I think she understands it. Don't you, Tiny? She's sitting right in front of me now. Hey, come here, darling. Hey, Tiny. Do you want to come up here? Say hello to people. Hey? She's lovely. Talking of kitchen things, how many of you, I wonder, grow your own vegetables or fruit or anything like that? Is there anything you do? I'd like to know about it. What do you grow? Okay, now, of course, people in all sorts of different countries watch this programme, so obviously, if you do grow, your stuff is likely to be different to what we grow here in the UK, I would guess. I was listening to the radio last night, and of course, food prices across the world are going up. And from all accounts, listening to this show, there's a lot of people that have started almost going back to basics. Mainly people who are, you know, where the money is really tight, and they've started trying to grow their own food. There was one particular lady on last night who is growing tomatoes. Now, that's my old favourite. When I was 14, 15, 16, we didn't have a garden. We only had a balcony. And I had pots and pots of tomatoes that I used to grow. I know I've mentioned this before. All along the balcony. I mean, you couldn't move for tomatoes, which was funny, really, because I didn't eat them. Okay, I just grew them for my mum. Loads of tomatoes. We used to have to give them round to the neighbours and everything. And I have done it once here, many years ago, in the beautiful garden I've got here now. It's not an enormous garden, but it's certainly big enough for a family of four. This garden's big enough for a family of four, and I could, if I wanted to, I suppose, have a little vegetable patch perhaps over there, which would be nice. As I say, I did try doing the tomatoes here before in pots. Why pots and not the garden? I don't know why I chose pots. Easier to get rid of at the end, I suppose, because when you grow tomatoes, there's an awful lot of roots in those pots, isn't there? So I did grow them there. But I found, you see, I don't really like using the sprays very much. And when it came time to harvesting the tomatoes, sort of around September time, August, September, October, I found a lot of them had been eaten on the inside by some sort of insect. It's like a grey thing with about 6 legs. I don't know what it is. They're small ones, and they were actually inside the tomato. I mean, you could tell they had eaten from the outside. There were like holes in the tomatoes, and since then I haven't really bothered doing it again. The other thing I grew once was peas. Didn't have too much success with those. I actually had the peas over by the window over there. Now this would be going back to just before my nan died. One of my nans died, so around about 1994, 1995, I had some peas growing up by the window over there, but I think we only managed about 4 pods on the plant, so I don't know what was wrong there. Oh, my nan made me laugh with those. She was sitting next to this plant. I always remember I was going out somewhere. So I said, I'll see you later, Nan. She said, okay. So she's sitting next to this pea plant. There was one pod of peas on there. When I came back, she's sitting there, my nan, in this chair. Oh, she was lovely, Nanny Hayes. I've got so many stories about her, I could tell you. And she was sitting next to the tree. And I came back, and she said, "All those peas are nice, aren't they?" And in her hand, she's eating raw peas. She's picked this thing off the plant, eating the peas out of the pod. And I thought that was the only one there was. So we didn't do any more peas after that. I've also tried cucumbers. Again, not in the garden, believe it or not. I've done cucumbers in pots on the balcony where we used to live in Roehampton. That worked quite well. So we've got that as well. But since then, I've tried onions. Again, they were by the front of the window in front of my house. Not successful at all with those. I bought the little onion bulbs. I don't know what you call them. You know, when they're very small. And I planted them from Asda, actually. They were doing them cheap. And I planted them all in front of the window. Not one of them increased in size or grew. Very disappointed with those. Don't know why. Maybe I didn't care for them enough. Possibly. But certainly I find tomatoes are the easiest thing to grow, don't you think? What do you grow where you are? This woman on the radio, she grew everything in pots, and she didn't have a garden either. She had a balcony. It's all she had was a balcony. She grew loads of tomatoes, and again she had to give them away to neighbours, she had so many of them. She grew courgettes, she grew peppers. I listened in last night. This was last night on the radio on the way home. Peppers. What else was there? There was, I think, raspberries. She did raspberries and gooseberries, all on her balcony. Bags of earth and pots. How fantastic is that, eh? Do you grow any of your own fruit and vegetables? If so, I'd love to know about it. Please let me know. The email address is chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Do you remember the first time you started trying to grow things like that? Were you successful the first time? Or was you a little bit disappointed? Did it improve the second time you did it? And what do you grow? And what country are you in? Be very, very interested to know that. Let's get this out. Gardening with Chris. There we go. Oh, we can add that to my list of titles, can't we? Yes, Chris Reardon, international celebrity, award-winning DJ, landlord, global broadcaster, environmental conservationist, pilot, master of merriment, connector, gardener, and of course, your fairy godmother. Well, add that. Oh, what was the other one? And legend, living legend. That was the other one. That was added by Chris in Australia, I think, was it? Hey, tell me about your gardening. Or do you prefer doing flowers? I think, again, I've dropped my pen. When I was younger, I think I used to look at flowers as a waste of garden when you could be growing something to eat. Now, I like to have a few nice flowers. We've got some yellow ones. I've got some blue ones over there, some pink ones, some white roses, some red roses. And it's nice, isn't it? And of course the honeysuckle, I've got honeysuckle up against that shed there, and in front of me jasmine, and the aroma from those two plants at night in particular is beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Do you grow your own fruit and veg? Chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. I do have one apple tree. Now I did have two, but the thing is, they were bought. Is one here, okay. One just to the right of me, but and I had one over there as well, but it kind of overtook the garden. They were supposed to be mini apple trees that only go so high, but they got a bit out of control, so I dug one up because it was just too big and it was shading everything in the garden. But this one here I've still got. The only thing is, sometimes I've had apples from this one and sometimes nothing. And I can't quite work out why that is. Now this year, I haven't seen any blossom on this tree at all. And I think, let me have a look at it. There's nothing on there at all. I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure there's going to be no apples on that tree again this year. Don't know why that is. Really don't know why that is. Do you do apples? Fruit and veg? Come on, tell me what you grow. Chris at unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. All right? Now, talking of food type things, Chris went out today to buy some more bread for his bread machine. Yes, I did put it away for 2 weeks, but I can't. I've got to have my bread. I'm sorry. I've got to have my bread. Okay? I thought I'd put it away for 2 weeks and see if it makes a difference in your weight, and it didn't. Probably because I still kept going down to the supermarket and buying the bread there. So I thought, well, if you're going to do that, you might as well go back out and buy it yourself. My God, hasn't the price of flour gone up? Last time I bought it, it was on special offer, and the wholemeal bread flour was 60 pence for a packet, right? That same packet of flour is now £1.06. So that's gone up an awful lot of money. Not only that, but they didn't actually have that brand in stock, so I had to get the branded one, which was £1.46. Which is rather expensive. I say that. Hang on, I've gone too far forward now. No, first of all, I bought plain wholemeal flour, and I got it home, and I realised that it wasn't bread flour. So immediately the next day, well, that was quite late at night, because you know I do my shopping at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. Oh, it's fantastic. Great being in the shop 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. No one bothers you. Loads of room to move. No one screaming at the till. No one banging into your legs with their blooming trolleys and that sort of thing. Oh, I love it. You've got to experience that. If you've never been late night shopping, stay up one night and do it. Go down your local supermarket at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, assuming, of course, it's open wherever you are. So, this particular night, they had all the flour there. There was a flour there for £1.42, and I thought, that's too expensive. So I then found the Asda own brand flour, which was actually about 58 pence, which was cheaper than the bread flour. Oh, the sun's gone in now, isn't it? It was cheaper than the bread flour I bought last time. So I thought, yes, well, got back and suddenly realised it was wholemeal plain flour, not wholemeal plain flour for bread making. So I waited till the next day, and I immediately rang my friend Joy in Acton, regular listener to the show, and sometimes a viewer, aren't you, Joy? Sometimes you're a viewer as well, when I burn one of the shows to a DVD and pop it in the post for you. Oh, it's all the personal touch here, you know that. It's the personal touch, Joy. Oh, don't forget, I did mention it on the last show, you might want to start getting your orders in for the boxed set of United Kingdom Talk DVDs to give to your friends and loved ones for Christmas. The more you hate them, the more discs you can ask for in a box, okay? So if you particularly have had a few rows with a sister or a brother this year, it's usually sister or brother you have rows with, then can I suggest you make an order for every single show there's been this year. They will all be available on DVD. So that'd be 3 times 52. That'd be 1, 2, 3. That'd be 106. Look how quickly that was. Is it 52 weeks in a year or 54? 50. It's 52, isn't it? 156 shows. Look how quick I was there. Yes. Yes, I have. Built-in mathematician head. Haven't I, eh? Yes, start getting your orders in now. Tell me how many DVDs you want, and I can also gift package them all for a special price there. Special price, depending, of course, where you are. Maybe we should try that on eBay. Should we try and sell a box set of Chris Reardon's United Kingdom Talk? But how would we word it? Now, my sister, she sells mugs, and she told me if you put mugs for sale on eBay, if you add the words limited edition, they fly off the shelf, she said. She said, I don't know why that is. Whenever you use the words limited edition, they fly off the wall. So I think we should do DVDs limited edition and personally signed. What do you reckon? Well, we need some wording for the advert, okay? So how will we word the advert? I'm going to leave that up to you, okay? There's no point sitting there being bored to tears, all right? There may be 1 or 2 of you in hospital at the moment listening to this show. A warm welcome to you. I hope you're well. Okay? If you're sitting there bored, then go and get a pen. Don't worry, I don't know what time this show goes out on hospital radio, but don't worry. If it's the middle of the night, you call that nurse over and demand a pen now and a piece of paper and write down the ad. We need to advertise my boxed set for, because we need to start moving now, you see. I need to work out how many orders are coming in and how many blank DVDs to purchase to burn them all on there. Eh? Do let me know the wording for the advert. Chris at UnitedKingdomTalk.co.uk. So, there I am with the wrong flour. I left it, woke up in the morning, and I rang Joy, my friend Joy in Acton, regular listener, and I said, I think I've bought the wrong flour for the bread. She says, what you bought? I said, I bought wholemeal, plain, Asda own brand flour. What should I do? What should I do? What will I say? Da, da. Oh, what's that song? Da, 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 da. Might as well rain until September, isn't it? It might as well rain until September. Carole King. Have you got that one? Yeah, it's 1960s number. Anyway, so Joy said, well, she says you can use that flour, but the texture won't be the same. She said it'll make a loaf of bread, but it probably won't rise as much. And she said to me, do you have any proper bread flour? I said, well, not at the moment. So she said, here's the thing to do. Go out and buy some proper bread flour and then mix it sort of, I don't know, 30-70. 70% normal bread flour and 30% of the wrong type of flour, and that'll probably be all right. So I did do that today, or yesterday rather. I went down to, where did I go? Oh, I went back to Asda, and they only had the £1.45 bag of Allison's flour. Allison's. Is it Allison's? Which is like the, you know, the branded one, the proper. It's a bit like buying Heinz baked beans or Tesco's baked beans. Well, this would have been the Heinz baked beans, so the Allison's bread, which was much dearer than the other one. £1. It's £1.45 for a bag of that flour. Remember what I told you I was paying for that earlier in the year? 60 pence each. At that time, I mean, I did do the right thing, because at that time I bought the wholemeal bread flour at 60 pence, and I bought 8 packets of that. But you can only buy so much because the date sort of runs out, and I think the last one I said was it was running out in August. Okay, so that would have been, I think it was January I bought. Was it January, or maybe even earlier than that? Maybe last October, November. So I've got through about 6 or 8 bags of flour since then. But flour doesn't seem to have a very long shelf life. It's about, looks about 6 or 7 months. Is that right? I'm sure my mum told me that after a while you get weevils in the flour. Do you? Because I don't know much about that. Do you get weevils in flour? Let me know. Chris at UnitedKingdomTalk.co.uk. So, mixed the flour together, put all the stuff in the bread machine, switched it on, came back 5 hours later, and there was a better tasting loaf of bread, I have to say, than it was when I was using cheaper stuff. So I suppose you get what you pay for, don't you? Or was it because I'd mixed the 2 flours? I don't know. The only thing is, the very top crust of it didn't rise as well, but it's not really a problem. Tasted delicious. Absolutely delicious. So thank you for that advice, Joy, who incidentally, Joy has bought a new bread machine, but she's having trouble with her paddle, aren't you, darling? Joy is having trouble with her, not puddles. No, I didn't say Joy is making puddles. Oh dear, I do wish you'd pay attention. I said, are you making puddles, Joy? Oh, do be careful, dear. You'll have to put down some plastic sheeting where you're sitting. Joy is having trouble with her paddle in the bottom of the bread machine, in that when she's finished the bread, she taps it out of the bottom, being of course very careful not to burn herself, and the paddle keeps getting stuck in the bread. Now I did say to her what I do, and I don't have the problem anymore at all. What I do is when I put the oil in, I always use extra virgin olive oil. No, never use that cheap oil, because it's very bad for you, isn't it? I use the extra virgin olive oil, and I pour that over the paddle before I put the rest of the mixture in. Now she has been doing that, but her paddle keeps getting stuck in the bottom of the bread. Has anyone got advice for Joy on that one? It would be gratefully received. Do let us know. Email address, chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Right, chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Now, just before we go to the emails, I was going to tell you, I have been cleaning, boys and girls. This week, I cleaned the kitchen. Yes, shock, all right, I've lied to you. I cleaned one of the surfaces in the kitchen. All right? So we're getting there slowly. I looked at the floor. I'll be honest, the kitchen, well, it doesn't get dirty. I'm not always, like, dropping things on the floor or anything. And it doesn't look dirty, but to be honest, it's about time the kitchen floor was cleaned, because I think the last time it was done, oh my God, it was about 2 months ago. It's not good, is it, really? I mean, I know. Mum used to clean the kitchen floor every single day. Do you? Mum would clean the kitchen floor and hoover the entire house every day. Here, I suppose I hoover the entire house once a week. Kitchen floor, nah, not so much, really. Not good, really, is it? I've got this, I think I showed you, I've got this sponge thing, and it's not much cop, really, this magic sponge, or I don't know what it's called, and it just doesn't, nothing gets a kitchen floor clean like a string mop. Do you agree? No, there is nothing. I mean, you'd be better off, to be honest, buying all these expensive magic this and magic mop that or whatever it is. You're better off getting down on your hands and knees with a scrubbing brush and scrubbing that floor with a brush. You are. Next best to that is a string mop. That works wonders. But it's difficult to find a good quality string mop. You can find them in those pound shops. I suppose you have a similar thing in Australia and the States, a dollar shop or something like that. You can buy these string mops in there, but they're never very good quality. They're a bit thin with the string. You know, it's very difficult to buy a good quality mop. So there we are, cleaned the kitchen. I also started trying to clean the solar panels. Oh, there's a story there, dear. There's a story there. Now, have we got time for it today? 18... I don't think we have. No, we'll save that one for the next show, okay? Cleaning the solar panels. All I'll say is that I got up the ladder and started, but didn't complete the job. Why is that? In fact, I didn't even get a tenth of the way through the job. Now, why is that? Don't worry. As you can see, didn't fall off the ladder. I'm very, very careful at the top of ladders. Okay, it was so much easier if I had a balcony at the top and I could just reach over, but you can't. You've got to use a very long pole to get it up, and you got the attachment on the top of the pole. You kind of just drop it onto the solar panels and then move it up and down. And the weight of it, I suppose the gravity of the sponge thing on there cleans the pole. But we didn't get very far. I'll tell you on the next show about that, okay? Right, email time, boys and girls. It's time for those emails. Remember Suko, on the last show? She was writing a little bit about Reardon town, which is we're going to all club together at some point and buy a town, not a city, because there are too many buildings in cities and I like the country better. We are going to buy a town. And Suko writes, Reardon town, the happiest place on earth, a melting point where all citizens are hand-picked by the mayor, for whom the town is named for their looks and personality, regardless of ethnicity. Oh, come on, Chris, get those blooming words. No wonder I could never read the news. How can you say those names? Eh? How can you say all those foreign names? I could just about manage Nelson Mandela or Kofi Annan. Well, it's not Kofi Annan anymore, is it? That bloke who does all good things. Who is it now? Who is it? Can't remember. Anyway, for the looks and personality, regardless of ethnicity, race or religion. We love it. A place, incidentally, if you are worried that you wouldn't be good looking enough to live in Reardon town, you have no worries there at all. And I'll tell you why. And I haven't mentioned this for quite some time. This programme is only watched. The equipment that I have here, creating this programme, the video equipment and the sound equipment as well. Say hello, sound. Little tap for you. It's a little microphone. The equipment I have to create this show doesn't actually allow mingers to watch. Okay, so if you're either listening or watching the show, you know you are good looking. Only people who are really dreadful looking, they can't actually see or hear this show. They try and listen and it doesn't work. So just simply by watching and listening to the show, okay, tells me that I know that you're good looking. The equipment does not allow mingers to watch. Similarly, I have to warn you, okay, I have to warn you that if you stop watching or listening, I'm afraid your looks go too. Oh, it's true. It's true. I mean, I was walking down the road the other day at someone I knew who used to listen to the show. He was a listener via the main United Kingdom Talk website, unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. And I looked over and I crossed the road and said, "All right, hello, how are you?" And he turned around, "Oh my God, you've never seen someone so ugly in all your life?" I said, "Oh," and you know, you don't like to say anything, do you? And he could see it in my face. He said, "What's up?" I said, oh, nothing. I said, "Oh." I says, "Did you hear the show yesterday?" He said, "Oh, to be honest, Chris, I haven't heard it for a couple of weeks." And I thought, oh, well, there you go then. You know, whatever you do, don't stop watching or listening, because I'm afraid you'll lose your looks. Okay, be warned by that. I'm only telling you that as a friend. I'm not twisting your arm or anything like that. I'm just warning you. So next time you walk down the street and you say, "Oh, it's not very good," you'll know they don't listen. Okay? Don't worry about that. Don't worry about it. I have to say, looks and that sort of thing, I mean, some of these people who have the cosmetic surgery look absolutely hideous, don't they? I mean, there are some stars I could mention here on the show, but I'm not one to mention names. I mean, to be honest, you know James Dean, presenter of the matinee show, I think he might have had a bit of facial surgery because it just doesn't look right, does it? He just doesn't look right. James Dean from the matinee show.co.uk. Yeah. I'm sure he's had something done now. Anyway, a place where everyone gets along, Suko says. In fact, there are no words for war and hate. A place where it's back to basics, self-sufficient. Yes, grow your own and make your own power. We love it. The citizens grow their own food and barter for goods and services with each other and nearby towns. No money changes hands. That's what we like. Whatever money the citizens have can go into Reardon Town Bank, run by the mayor, for whom the town is named, to accrue tons of interest so that the citizens can retire to wherever their hearts desire. But of course, most want to stay on, and so the money remains in the community for the good of all. We love this, Suko. Everyone has a role in this community, but mostly it's just fun and games all day long. Bingo, karaoke and quiz nights abound, all run by the multifaceted mayor for whom the town is named. That's 3 times you've said whom the town is named, Suko. It's a very neighbourly place where everyone helps each other out. For a few tomatoes and carrots from your garden, you could have one of your neighbours vacuum and dust your living room. I like the sound of this. And for the privilege of cleaning the mayor's kitchen, you merely give him some tomatoes and carrots and throw in some strawberries and a large watermelon. In return, the mayor, for whom the town is named, will show his appreciation by regaling you with amusing noises and some of his more endearing imitations, such as J. Fred Muggs and, of course, his unforgettable bread machine impersonation. Yes, such a fun place. There is only one downside to living in Reardon Town. Anytime a citizen wants to leave or simply email another radio show, they must first get permission from the mayor for which the town is named. A small price to pay for the privilege of living in this utopian society. Reardon Town, England's naughty little secret where the beautiful people meet and mingle. For a brochure, send a recent photograph and the equivalent of £20 English to United Kingdom Talk, P.O. Box 4073, Bracknell, Berkshire, RG429ED, United Kingdom. I like it, Suko. Send your money. Oh, for God's sake, don't start sending money. We'll all get in terrible trouble. Don't send money, for God's sake. Bars of chocolate are acceptable, of course. All right. We do have a postal address. Thank you for that. That's great, Suko. It's such a good one. We've got some very, very good... We've got several good writers now. I don't dare start reading out names because then we miss people out and they get up. So there's some very, very good writing coming into the show now. I love it. I absolutely love it. We do have if you don't want to send an email, then you can always write into the show. I will give you the address to write into in just a second or two. All right. Meantime, Suko also sends something that we could use in Reardon Town, a gadget from, now what's this? This place is called vacationgadgets.com, and they've got all sorts of gadgets there, okay? Vacationgadgets.com, and if I can ask you to type into the search bit, Johnny Glow Toilet Locator, okay? Now, often we talk about natural things like toilets and passing wind and that sort of thing, and to assist you in your nightly visits to the toilet, because we will of course have public toilets in Reardon Town, but these won't be any ordinary public toilets. Absolutely not. They will be proper, nicely cleaned. There will be no smells. There won't be some dodgy geezer or woman standing by the basin trying to sell you perfumes and sweets when you've washed your hand. I hate that, don't you? We get that in clubs a lot here in the UK. I don't know if you have it wherever you are, but you go and use the toilet, communal toilet, and there's a bloke or a woman standing by the wash basin with sweets and deodorant, and you have to give them £1 for a spray of the deodorant or something, and he hands out paper towels. I mean, I suppose they're only doing a business, but it annoys me, when you're trying to, because I don't like seeing people in the toilet. Do you? As I go in the toilet, I hold my head down and just go and do my business and then walk out as quickly as possible after washing my hands. There's nothing worse than someone standing there next to a wash basin demanding £1 so that you can dry your hands off on a towel. I always wipe mine on the top, don't you? You wash your hands, you shake them off quickly and then wipe them down yourself. And I hate those air dryers as well. I hate them. They take something, you're under that air dryer with your hands like that. I don't like them at all. Anyway, one of the other things that we must have in Reardon Town, okay, is Johnny Glow toilet locators, okay? These will be installed in all of our public conveniences, okay? And also, I think we might even install them in your homes, free of charge. As Mayor of Reardon Town, I decree that all new homes will have a Johnny Glow toilet locator. Now, what are these? Marvellous. Marvellous. Johnny Glow, the toilet locator, is uniquely designed to help you see where you are going in the middle of the night. Now, of course, I have mentioned to you already that we will be, on a previous show, we will be an ecological town, okay? Only using power where necessary, and indeed generating our own from wind turbines and solar panels. We must not use power when not necessary. Now this Johnny Glow toilet locators, once applied to your toilet, the glow-in-the-dark strips of Johnny Glow will help you accurately use the facilities without missing and creating unwanted mess. I mean, this has got to be the best thing this century ever invented so far, isn't it? Eh? With Johnny Glow, trips to the bathroom can now be taken without turning on the bathroom light. Look, saving you money again. Well, there wouldn't be any charge for our electricity in Reardon Town. I told you that, didn't I? It's all free. Everything's free. Johnny Glow lights the rim of the toilet for use in the dark, eliminating that unwanted mess. One of the first must-have products of the 21st century. Johnny Glow has been featured on the radio in the New York Times and hailed as funny as incredible useless item that no home should be without. Absolutely not. Look at this, what they're saying about Johnny Glow, and it's got some listings from people who have written to the company now. Women from as far away as Portugal and Mozambique are buying the product for their husbands. Fluorescent adhesive strip for the toilet rim helps prevent nocturnal misfires by men. Affordable, water-resistant genius. And here we are, the top 10 reasons to get a Johnny Glow, okay? Number 10, never having to feel for the bowl during a power outage. Not, of course, that we will have those in Reardon Town, but you never know. Better be safe than sorry. Fabulous wedding or baby shower gift. Help your guys perfect their aim. Save electricity. Who needs a bathroom light? Follow the glow. Great retirement or over-the-hill gift for friends and family. Or I don't know if it'll help you with your Puddles joy. I'm not sure that this sort of thing will help you with your puddles, my love. Okay? Get the kids in the game. Great for night. Potty training. Save your Cheerios for breakfast. No more painful bright lights necessary when you were praying to the porcelain god. Oh, I know what you mean there. Isn't it awful? You know when you've been asleep for a while and you get up to use the toilet and you turn the light on. Oh my God, that it hurts the eyes, doesn't it? Great Father's Day or birthday day gift. Great for camping. Wrap Johnny around a tree. And you won't get back into bed with 2 wet feet. Isn't that awful? That is awful. Easy to clean, no batteries or electricity needed. No, you just stick these things on. So there we are. Johnny Glow, if you want to have a look at that. I don't know how much they cost. Does it say how much they cost? They got all sorts of things on that. Oh, it's blimey, it's $12.80. It's about £8, I think. It's about £8 altogether. $12.85 plus $3.35 postage. I would guess that's for America though. But it's about £7 for one of those. It's all right, isn't it? If you don't have to turn the light on again. Oh, what these people come out with. Thank you for that, Suko. And Suko did write another email. She says, I meant to remind you what you were doing when I saw you jump on the chair. Remember it's about 6 or 7 shows ago now. I jumped on the chair. And what was I doing? And do what you thought was an amazing chimp impersonation. That was it. I was demonstrating what to do during a thunder and lightning storm. The fact that you were not imitating anything at the time makes it all the more amazing because you were spot on as a chimp. From Suko, yes. I was showing you what position to take up if you are ever in a lightning storm surrounded by, well, not a lot. You're supposed to get down, crouch down like that. It is frightening, lightning, isn't it? Frightening. Hello to our friend Susan. Hello, Susan, the cat lover, who writes, because we were mentioning about I had to put snail stuff down, didn't I? Because we keep getting slugs and snails and they're eating everything. She says, I don't know about the snail bait in England, but over here it is extremely toxic to pets. Please make sure the bait can't hurt your babies, i.e. my 2 cats. My sister almost lost her 2 poodles from peanut butter flavoured mouse bait. The vet bill was in the thousands of dollars, but at least they lived. She says, you won't realise how trivial snails can be until one of your cats gets sick. Please get this bait out of your garden. Do any neighbours' pets have access to your garden? You could get sued if they did. I will pray to St. Francis to watch over Tiny and Katie, they're my 2 cats, until this snail bait has gone. You could buy a pooper scooper and use it to gather up the snails and throw them in the outside bin. Yeah, we can get snail bait that is safe for pets, and indeed that's what I've got. Alright, so don't worry about that, Susan. I know the ones you mean. The ones you mean are... Oh, hang on, they're blue as well, aren't they? No, they all seem to be blue. They're a blue colour, but that does say on the back, safe for pets, so... Thank you, Susan, for your kind worrying there. But do not worry, my babies are safe. They are sick. The one's asleep right in front of me at the moment. She's not waking up at all. Tiny! Her eyes are closed. She's not moving at all. Hang on. Tiny! Oh, I thought she was dead then. She's the old one. She does a lot of sleeping. She weren't moving. I couldn't see her breathing. Bless her. We love our cats, don't we? Susan says, on a lighter note, I think you need to join our club. Here it goes. Hello, my name is Susan and I'm a plant-a-holic. I know what you mean, Susan. Each day I have to repeat my serenity prayer. 1. God grant me the serenity to pass the plant department of every grocery store, building supply store and plant nursery without me buying anything. You never know what I might be missing in the marked down section. This weekend I went to the hardware store just to see what plants they have on the reduced rack. I promised myself that I would not spend more than $5, but I know what you mean, Susan. How could I pass up half-gallon containers of zinnias? What is zinnias? I don't know what they are. Marked down to $1. These would look splendid underneath my banana plants and they bloom all summer. Have you got banana plants? How fantastic. Do you get bananas? Do you get bananas there? I've seen, when I went in the Caribbean, I've seen banana plantations. And masses and masses of them. And they put bags on them. They put, I think, what colour were the bags? I think they were blue bags or brown bags, because otherwise they get eaten by insects. Oh yeah, I've seen lots of banana plantations in the Caribbean. And fantastic. All growing along the side of the road. For miles and miles you can be. Beautiful. She says, this would be a good investment for my garden, and they had dozens of them. So I bought them all. Oh God, you didn't, did you? You fall into one. You're the same as me. I see special offers on plants and I buy. Last week I was down Marks and Spencer's. They've got, so it's like a posh food shop really, and they do plants sometimes. And I bought 3 plants in there because they were doing 2 for 3. I only wanted 1, but because they were doing 3 for 2. But because they were doing 3 for 2, I bought 3. But they're all in the garden. You always find space, don't you? There's not a lot of space in this garden, but I tend to dig something else up and put that in. You know, I've got a lot of pink geraniums in here, and bit by bit I've started digging those up and replacing them, not all of them, but some of them with different types of plants. Otherwise you get pink flowers for a month and then nothing. So I'm trying now to replace bits of those with different things and get some different colours out here. She said, so I bought them all. Now for the mulch, I would need, and I also need cow manure. $48 later, I walked out of the store. You do the same as me, girl. Girl, you do the same as I'm exactly the same. I go into the garden centre for 1 or 2 plants and I end up with a trolley full of the stuff, and I get back here and then I'm fighting for space. Can't find where to put them. Cannot find where to put them. So usually they end up going in a communal area out the front or around the side. But those 2 areas are now full of these pink geraniums. But although I said to you I dig them out from the garden, I don't chuck them away. I never chuck a plant away, never. I go and put it in the communal area either to the front or to the side of my house, and everything is growing out there. I showed you a couple of shows ago, didn't I? Eh? Number 2, God, grant me the serenity not to check out every gardening message board I can find on the internet. You never know who might have posted a new variety of plant or landscaping idea that I could use. Do you know that purple coneflowers now come in apricot and white varieties? I don't know what coneflowers are. I don't know what coneflowers are. Oh, do you mean petunias? They're like that shape, aren't they? I wonder if you mean the same thing as us. She says, they will have them in stock in the local nursery, but as so far the price is still quite high. I will wait for sale. Very sensible, my love. While I have to get up at 4:30 in the morning to get ready for work, I will just check out one more website. It's now midnight. My favourites are Garden Web, Hardy Palm and Subtropical and International Palm Society. I bet you've got a lovely garden, haven't you? Number 3, God, give me the serenity not to subscribe to every gardening magazine or haunt the bookstores for new books on tropical gardening. And please, Lord, stop sending me all those wonderful full colour plant catalogues in the mail. I get those. I get those also. I don't know about buying plants through the mail, though. I never think it's very good for the plants. I have done it before. I have actually done it before, and not too much of a problem. But, I mean, you know, for the plant to be locked up in that little box for all that time, it's cruel to plants. Susan, you and I have to set up a protection against cruelty to plants. We need to set up a charity like that, all right? She says, I could go on, but I don't want to bore you. Thankfully, I don't like the cold weather. You know, you like me. I don't like the cold weather either, Susan. This addiction goes away in the winter, but every addiction has an outlet. And truly, Chris, I truly think, Chris, that you might become a member of my other club also. Hello, my name is Susan, and I'm a cook-bookaholic. I have over 300 cookbooks. Did you see the latest gadget? An avocado slicer. It peels, it slices it into perfect wedges, and it's only $5. Oh, Susan, dear. Yeah, I'd like to do a lot more cooking than I do. I really would. Nearly out of time. I've got to give you the postal address now. Postal address is Chris Reardon, United Kingdom Talk, P.O. Box 4073, Bracknell, Bracknell, RG429ED. Okay? Chris Reardon, United Kingdom Talk, P.O. Box 4073, Bracknell, Bracknell, RG429ED, United Kingdom. And the email address, as always, is chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. And that's it from the show today. I've still got some emails waiting here from Wayne, another couple from Susan, our mate Tony, and of course Terence and Joe as well. All emails coming up in the next show. From myself, Chris Reardon, thanks for watching and listening. I'll see you on the next show. Bye-bye.